Now, one of the things I hear some HEX streamers saying they think the price of HEX is going to be higher on PulseChain than Ethereum. Some say the opposite, and some say parity.
Forced parity.
You think parity?
Forced parity. And what I mean by that is there will always be arbitrage opportunities, but because of the pairing of one hex to one hex, and even if the OA doesn't do it, whales will. It would be nice if the OA would start that pool so that the whales can come and move into it safely, because it would create a stable pair that wouldn't have any impermanent loss, because no matter what buys or sells or trades out, you would still get HEX. You get HEX from both chains, which would be fantastic, right? To be able to be part of a pool to get HEX from both chains.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
I'm listening to you again. I'm thinking that's got to be good for the price of HEX if there's forced parity. Because what I thought was that the ROI for HEX on PulseChain would be excellent, but starting from a very low base, as it's got a new price chart, whereas HEX on Ethereum hasn't. So I thought the price on HEX on Ethereum on launch would dip a bit, and then the price of HEX on PulseChain would start very low. But the forced parity reality, and we'll go with what you're saying, Johnny, because you know what you're talking about. I'm just a guy on the internet with a mic.
A lot of people thought they were going to buy cheap Pulse. They thought they're going to get it cheap, right? So you look at Ethereum Fair and you look at Ethereum Proof of Work. Right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, well, they're cheap there, so they'll be cheap on Pulse. No, they're not, because
no. Yeah, I never made that comparison. Yeah. But so the forced parity, I like that phrase. Another good one. That involves some buying from the OA, doesn't it? It involves holding the price of HEX up on PulseChain. And obviously, if you buy HEX today, you get HEX on.
All it requires the OA to do is to create a pool of one HEX to one HEX.
Right.
That's it. Create a large enough pool that nobody can change it. And then what happens is you can buy the gold version over here, and you can take it and sell it for the silver version over here, or trade it for the silver version. Your silver coins for gold coins for silver coins. It doesn't matter. The network doesn't care. A HEX is a HEX. It becomes the universal conduit. Here's something fun about that. If somebody has that equal stable liquidity pool, it becomes a conduit between chains. So people that wanted to move over to Pulse Network can buy HEX on Ethereum and then transfer it over to the Pulse Network, get an exchange of their Pulse HEX, and then they're able to take that and trade it as if it was just a universal conduit. So it doesn't lose any value. It holds its value over there. So it becomes a universal conduit between chains. It gives people another reason to buy HEX, because if they want to move over to the Pulse Network, they can do that. It becomes a stronger store of value and a universal conduit.
So if there was any moment when the price of HEX on Ethereum was higher than the price of HEX on PulseChain, there's an economic incentive to go over to PulseChain.
Arbitrage it.
Yeah. That's cool. Now let's put some numbers so we can sort of see how the rubber hits the road on that one then. So I think the price of HEX is going to run up to 20 to 30 cents in TNV3 public, right? So when we get launch, if there's forced parity, that means that the price of HEX on PulseChain and Ethereum will be identical, or almost identical, with a little bit of continuous arbitrage movements. Yeah. So stay with those numbers so that dummies like me can understand. So say, for instance, the price of HEX was 25 cents when we fork. So we'd have then, would you say, maybe, for instance, 15 cents HEX on Ethereum and a 15-cent HEX on PulseChain? I'm thinking the sum of the parts will be greater than the whole. But is that the sort of thing you'd expect? Because the value has to derive from somewhere, and it has to divide. So there'll be a dump in the price of HEX on Ethereum, but there'll be this phenomenal price of your brand new HEX, which you didn't buy in the first place, copied over onto PulseChain. You'll have like millions of HEX, which will be worth 10, 15, 20 cents, something like that.
You don't have to sell your Ethereum side. That's the thing. If you're able to do the universal conduit, you'll never have to sell your Ethereum side. You just move it over.
Right.
So it's never sold
if it's not staked.
So you don't get a dip in price.
If it's not staked.
Right. But you don't get a dip in price because you just migrated over. If your intention is to move your Ethereum hex to get more Pulse side hex, then you just bridge it and then exchange it and then stake over there. So there's no real sell on the market. And when you bridge it, it goes through that pool that, the whales own the most of, and some of that hex is burnt off the market as a result of that transition between chains. So it has there's so many benefits from setting it up that way.
Yeah, man.
And again,
DJ Cryptomatics just saying if what you're saying is true, it's crazy not to be loading up on Hex right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's absolutely crazy. I cannot believe that we have gotten this low. It's just insane to me. But
I was walking
I
around
understand
yesterday.
perception of value, and I understand that people don't get it, and they won't get it until the price is gone. That's why I've been so hard in this bear market, where I'm saying people be like, "Oh, you said it was here and the price went down." Just keep buying. Just keep buying. You're gonna love me a year from now. You might be annoyed with me right now.
Not a year, buddy.
But,
Less than a
but
year.
you're gonna love me
I
a
mean,
year from now.
it was only a few weeks ago we were 1.7, and I was obviously a buyer at 1.7, and but I was walking around yesterday when we were at 5 point something cents, and I was thinking, because I had a little bit of dry powder left, and I was just thinking, why didn't I go all in? Why didn't I go all in?
Because you didn't know.
Because what?
You can't know. You can't.
I did instinctively know. If you use sentiment and things, you can know. It's just I'm very good at calling bottoms. I had a couple of false dawns with FTX and things like that, and the delay in PulseChain, so you wouldn't know it. But I knew it when I saw it. In fact, I even did a bet. People will tell you here, I did a bet. So if we went below 1.7 again, I was going to shave all my hair off. So and no, I mean if I'd put 100K, if I put 100K in at 1.7, I'd have made $200,000 in about 3 weeks. And when we did a 3x, and
but
no,
you're short-terming it again.
I bloody did know.
You're short-terming it again.
Sorry.
So you're still in trader mode. There are things much greater than trading that you're about to see before your eyes.